Yes, people. Just waiting for Lewis to get here. Should be here in about 10 minutes, he said. So about 7 o'clock UK time, 2 o'clock PM EST time. Big up everyone that's been patiently waiting in the chat for all of 4 minutes. I try not to keep you lot waiting too long. Big up Figgle. We need Tommy T back. That's not the answer, mate. Todd and Co need to get with him to bring him back. It's not going to happen. Palace will fancy their chances against Chelsea. Don't expect an easy game. Absolutely not. I have my doubts about that game as well. There's no such thing as an easy game at the moment. That's a fact. Even relegation teams have a chance against Chelsea. I mean, I've been saying this for the absolute longest, is that right now we look like any team can beat us. Any team that can string several passes together and progress the ball forward are a threat to us. Doesn't matter who the opposition is. Chelsea, like Man United last season, everybody thinks they have a chance against them going into a game. It's not looking good. Big up, Chris. What's happening, lads? Potter out. Yeah, get rid. Not sure about that. I've actually got a video coming out after this. Yeah, that actually explains my feelings about the whole Potter in, Potter out situation. Do you know what I mean? But big up everybody in here. If you're new, we are actually trying to get to 15K. We're under 100 away from doing so. So please make sure you support the thing. Smash the like button. It's not going to cost you nothing. But what might cost you something if you are generous is that I have opened up the membership. So make sure you smash join if you do want to support the channel. Every little helps, you get me, but it's appreciated. Likes are just as appreciated. Subscriptions are just as appreciated, as are your comments, and as is your contribution to the chat as well. So big up everyone that's here. We need a CDM. Yep, been saying that since summer. Still haven't got one. Not sure if we look like getting one. Although, again, there's been a little bit of information. I'm not going to say too much. Some of you may already know, but I've got a video coming out that's after this live that you lot definitely going to have to tune into and check out the news on there. I also give my thoughts on the whole Graham Potter situation and just the short term, what I think in like the short term, what needs to happen. Do you know what I mean? So make sure you stay tuned for that. To those that are joining, Lewis will be here in about 10 minutes. He's just finishing off a stream on his own channel, and then he will be straight here. Big up GMRY. What do you think of Madueke? I haven't seen enough of him, but what I do remember of him, both games against Arsenal, I thought he played very well. I thought he actually played better than what Cody Gakpo did, to be honest with you. Him and Sangare at the Emirates in particular, I thought they balled out. So not a bad player, but is he the answer for me? I'm not too sure. I hear his injury record is a bit questionable. And there are other talents that are out there that, let's have it right, do look better than what he is. So let's see. Where's the minerals from these players? I've got no idea, mate. Like, if we knew, we wouldn't be in this situation. The minerals have gone a long time ago for several of them. Do you know what I mean? This is the season where we've had our pants down and, and we've been exposed. Big up yourself, John. Marcus Thuram up front. Again, another player I'm not too sure about. Like, is he the answer? Is there going to be another better solution coming in? Is he going to end up being a squad option? If he ends up being a squad option, then cool. It's not a bad squad option to have. But obviously, he's not coming in with the mind that he's going to be a squad option. You know what I mean? He's going to want to be playing. But, I mean, anything is better than what we've currently got at the minute. Hold on a second. It's messaging Lewis back. He's trying to raid my stream, but I haven't set it up in the back end for him to do that. I'm not sure how to do it. I'll have to check it out after this. Man said, bun in one Bertie. Big up yourself, bruv. Don't overdo it. Don't overcook yourself, mate. Yeah, these days with these strands, it's easy to do that. You get me? Big up yourself. Seems Todd is back in Potter. Yeah, he hasn't changed his stance. We've heard all of them, McBarley, him all say like they believe Potter is the man for the job long term. But do you know what's encouraging about that? Yeah, outside, away from the manager, more so with the staff's thinking. It's the fact that by them saying that, to me, it acknowledges that they see the problem with the squad. And that's a good thing because we've been calling for a squad overhaul, certain suspects just out of the club, and just a revamp of Chelsea altogether. New faces in the squad, man. Do you know what I mean? So it's not really too bad. But again, like I said, my thoughts, I'm trying not to give too much thoughts on Graham Potter, because again, I do have a video that's coming out where I do go into a little bit of detail. So I'm not trying to recycle information. All right. My brother's saying here, I've got to do, bear with me for 1 second, people. Lewis is giving me a set of instructions. Yeah. And I've just got to make sure that I get this right. So man said, go to settings on YouTube Studio. Done. Click on community. And tick yes on all channels can redirect to my content. Wow. Where is he seeing this? I don't see this. Oh, yeah, boom. There you go. Big up, Lewis. Big up, Lewis. Absolutely, bruv. That is Dunzito. Yep. So this stream will be raided. I'm not sure what happens. I just hope it's not a thing where FBI just bust through the door and you just see Guni hit the deck, hands up and all this stuff. That used to happen. I think it was in the gaming community. There are some savage gamers. Like, I think it was called swatting or something. Mad thing. You get me? Hope Todd doesn't throw massive wage to get Thuram. Like, he better not. That would be stupid. That would be ridiculous if he did. He's not that guy. He's just not that guy. You see his brother Kefrem, though. I like Kefrem, and he's a DM. He's a DM. There are other options I'd look at ahead, but Kefrem's quality. I reckon he can grow up and become a top player. Right, let's see what Lewis is saying now.
And we have breaking news now. The Trump.
Whoops. Yeah, adverts just popping up there, people. Don't mind that. Guni, when I get my channel running, I'm trying to hop on the show. Yeah, man, holler at me. Hit me up. We need a major clear out this summer. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, if the deal's for 10 million, then that's not bad, because there's definitely resale value with the player, first and foremost, if it doesn't work out. We're just not, like the previous comment said, we just got to hope we don't get stung by the wages. Big up everyone that's joining in. I know you're like, where's Lewis? You're supposed to be doing the stream with Lewis. He's not here. But Lewis, he'll be on the way. He set up the raid. Yeah, not sure how that happens. You get me? This is all new stuff to me. Apparently, these people them are going to raid this stream. So Lewis should be here in a few minutes. We need to sell Havertz, bro. He offers nothing. There was a chance yesterday where Felix was through and Havertz ran. He done it. Mason Mount done it as well. I was disgusted. I was sick to the pit of my stomach. I think I even tweeted both of them. And there is my guy, Lewis. When you hear that pop, you know what time it is. But before I bring him up, let me just get the super chat out of the way. Alhambra, big up yourself. Thank you very much for the super chat. Guni just subscribed and love the channel. I'm so conflicted as a Chelsea fan. I hate this squad, but I want to see Potter instill fear and respect. Well, Alhambra, welcome to Man Knows Football. Thank you very much for your contribution. And you are in the right place for therapy. And just at the right time, Lewis has joined us on the stream. How you doing, my bro?
I feel like I've got most of the anger out of my system, but I still think about that game and I'm pissed off. I say a West London derby and these lot couldn't even bother turning up, but whatever, we move.
I mean, at this stage, are you shocked? Are you even surprised that this result was happening?
I'm not shocked, but it's like they continue to disappoint me. Like, everyone just stinks except for fucking Thiago Silva. And yeah, Felix was nice. That was very refreshing to watch him. But that red card was so stupid. And I don't think people are talking about it enough. It's like, yeah, it was a great performance. Yeah, it was nice until the idiot got himself sent off and banned for a month.
Yeah, let's start on that real quick, because obviously we're trying to figure out, the topic of this is, you know, where are we going to get a win from? And that's obviously going to impact our chances with such a player. Do you know what I mean? So, obviously we saw some lovely football from him. Do you know what I mean? We saw the quality that's needed to become an elite player. Do you know what I mean? Or to be considered an elite player. The weight of his passing, his decision making as well, the way he was just effortlessly just one step ahead of every player and just beating them. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people had questions about his physicality in the Premier League. one thing I did say is don't underestimate the way he uses his body. He's very good at it. Do you know what I mean? We saw that yesterday. One of them actually, ironically, being one of the runs that he wasn't rewarded for. I don't know if you remember when he spun my man, he dummied the ball, he let it cut across him, and he made that run, played it to Mason Mount, and Mace played it to Azpilicueta instead of playing it to him. He wanted the ball back, 1-2. Green pastures ahead of him, one-on-one with the keeper. Who knows what would have happened? Do you know what I mean? So, look, outside of all of that, we definitely saw the positives, but the negatives is that instead of having him for 5 months, we've now got him for 4 months because his loan ends in June. We don't play any ball in June, so that's 1 month less. And now we've got him off for 3 games, and the next game he'll be available for is in February, West Ham away. What an absolute catastrophe that is. But Lewis, talk to me, bruv.
Yeah, Joao Felix was very refreshing to watch. You could see the instant impact that he had and just the gulf in class on quality from him compared to the likes of Mount and Havertz. And yeah, we will be earmarking them again because Joao Felix just put both of them on ropes because he did in one game, in one 60-minute performance, better than anything I've seen either of them perform over the entire season. Like you said, the weight of pass, the decision making, the ability to beat players, the ability to make chances for himself. That guy is the genuine connection, the link between the midfield and the attack, and I can see it from him already. And you compare it to what we already have, you only deep how far down we are in the trenches. Our strikers, our forwards are horrific. If that guy has only been here for a day and has just moonwalked into the lineup and is our best attacker, just like that. And we already had questions of him before. We're going to say, is he Havertz 2.0? Is he just going to be another player who we can't really fit into a position that's just going to roam around and do nothing? No. Joao Felix is what everybody has pretended that Kai Havertz has been for the last 2 years. Everything. Because all the attributes I saw from him are the same attributes that people pretend he has. The same attributes people pretend Mason Mount has. And that just shows how low we've sunk as a football club, personally. The red card as well, stupid from him. Partly his fault, partly Koulibaly for just rocketing a ball at his feet and then expecting him to be able to control that. I don't know what he was thinking with that. But same way, I don't care if you're a striker. How are you going for a tackle with your studs up like that?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And the thing is, right, when you look at the replay, he actually had time to pull out of the challenge. I don't know what he was thinking in that moment, but look, as soon as it happened, I was like, this doesn't even need to go on VAR, man. You already know what time it is.
We were in the ground and we thought it was a red.
Shocking. But this is the thing. Some of us already knew when Joao Felix was going to walk into this team, he was going to be the best attacker immediately. Because look, if you've been watching him and if you watched him through the World Cup, there's certain intangibles that are always going to cross over in the Premier League or no matter what league you go to. The first thing is that I've mentioned is obviously his body strength and how he uses it. You saw several times, especially against Ghana, how well he used his body strength against some of them players, was able to turn them, use their momentum against them. Outside of that, it's just like you said, man. Like everything that we saw in him is what we've desperately been crying out for in Mason Mount. What some fans are saying that he has and we just haven't seen. And it's similar with Kai Havertz. But now we miss him for 3 games. And it just perfectly segues into the topic. Where are we going to get our next win from, Lewis? Are you at all optimistic? Do we have any injuries that are going to be returning soon? That's going to at least bolster the depth of the squad. What's going on here, bruv?
I don't know when we get our next win from. I've already said, my target for the season is now 15 points. Guarantee survival, and then I'm done. I don't really care past that.
It's got to that point where we're like, we've got to concentrate on 40 points, bruv. Has it actually got to that?
Yeah, because the bigger question is not 3 points. Where do we get 15? Where do we get 15? I don't know. I really don't know. So we might be having that sort of conversation. I don't want to jump out, be reactionary. It only does take a couple of wins for us to completely forget about that. But where are we getting those? How does this team look capable of a 5-game winning run? Does this team look capable of a 3-game winning run? Does it seem look capable of a 2-game winning run? No.
Nope, not at all.
Nope.
Not
so
at all.
I don't know where our form comes from. To be fair, my mate Andrew said it perfectly as well. All we need is 15 draws, and we're probably more likely at getting that than we are getting 5 wins. But I don't know where our next win comes from. Palace are in bad form, but we're just going to give them a nice little confidence-building 3 points. Liverpool are the worst side I've seen from Liverpool in 10 years. We'll give them a confidence-building 3 points. Then we have Fulham coming back to the bridge because they obviously didn't have enough of fucking humiliating us. Probably end up getting a point or 3 there because we don't turn up for West London derbies.
Yeah.
Then we go to West Ham,
as well.
a ground we don't like playing at when even we're good, let alone when we're bad. So I don't know. I ain't got a clue. I don't know where we turn it around from.
No, it's not looking good. Felix embarrassed all of our attackers yesterday, including Mount and Havertz. I agree.
They embarrassed themselves too, by the way.
Yeah, they did. They did. In terms of vision, there was none whatsoever. It was sickening to see. I even tweeted it out, both pictures. Big up to Guni and Lewis, but don't you all understand that this is the time to defend our club? The way you all are shitting on our players is ammunition for our rivals to laugh against us. First of all, who gives a shit about what the rivals think? Let the rivals do what they're doing. Second of all, it's not about shitting on our players. It's about telling the truth on our players. Our players
shit.
Very simple. It's very simple.
We are 10 points off relegation.
And if you're offended at what we say, what about the 3 previous managers before Graham Potter, what they said about them? Because that's a lot
more offended over these performances than be offended.
This is what I'm saying. Like, you shouldn't be offended against us. If they were doing their job, they wouldn't be getting this. Yeah. If we had acted like a big club over the past 5-6 seasons, we wouldn't be in this position right now. It's that simple. They put us in this position where we've got to talk about this about our team. But the fact is that half of this squad, our seniors, we've got no leadership. They're not good enough. When we need them to stand tall and be counted for, they're the ones that hide. It's our youth that stand tall and be counted for. Don't you see a problem with that? Why is that my fault or Lewis's fault or anybody else that complains?
And then we'll say, the squad isn't experienced or anything like that. But then we'll talk about how they were able to rise above all sorts of pressure and win the Champions League. Come on, you can't have it both ways.
No,
the team was top for half the season, last season. Fact is, there's just been a massive decline in all areas of the squad. You could say the management, you could say the pitch, the goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders, attackers, everywhere has been a decline. Why are we expecting the same standards from a team that doesn't reach those standards? I've already said, until further notice, this ain't Chelsea FC. This is Fulham Broadway FC. They don't deserve the name Chelsea. This ain't Chelsea.
Bro, it's poor, fam. They're West London Blues right now, fam. Or whatever. What was the Cowboys? The West London Cowboys or whatever. Or West London Mavericks.
You might as well be the London Cowboys at this point.
Yeah, some London Mavericks, Cowboys, whatever it is. You get me? Big up August, £100 million worth of goalkeepers, and we can't get a clean sheet. Lewis, when we spoke about Kepa, what did I say to you?
Can't fully trust him, innit?
Now look.
I hear you. It's the last 2 games, 2 mistakes.
I didn't want to be right. But I told you the problem with Kepa, right, is listen, this is my position with the guy. The ability, he's always shown it. He's always shown that in top moments, he can actually stand up and be counted for. My problem with him is one mistake will cost you for the next 5 or 6 games. That's a mentality problem. I've been screaming that. That's why I say, don't be fooled by this guy's form, right? Fair play to him, but don't fall in the trap of trusting this guy. We have to bring a goalkeeper in. 100%.
At this point, it's like I only trust him more than Mendy, but it's like that says absolutely
that
nothing.
Shot to death.
Says
we
nothing.
Are actually in the bin, fam.
Like Kepa, he has had a good season in spite of all that, but it's like 2 big mistakes, 2 big games, and they both cost us points. This is why I can't really 100% trust you. 1920, I ain't forgotten about, bro. Can't forget about that. It takes a lot for me to forget that.
I just had a flashback. Lewis, at one stage, we had Peter Cech and Carlo Cudicini as goalkeeping options.
We had Cech and Courtois. Remember that time? Now we got Mendy and Kepa. Somehow that's worse than when we had Kepa and Caballero. Now make that one make sense. It's just a mess all over. But then again, people say, why are you being negative? Why don't you back the players? Our players are shit. I don't care. I don't know what level you want me to sugarcoat it to make it sound nicer. They are shit. They are not good enough. They are crap. They are terrible. They are horrific. I will use all the adjectives I want. They're crap. This isn't Chelsea. They aren't Chelsea quality. The only Chelsea quality players are Felix, James, and Silva. One's injured, one isn't even our player, and the other one's 38.
Some of the youth look promising as well. We're gonna have to include them because obviously they're not to blame. I think.
Oh yeah, I'm leaving them out of it.
I think outside of Koulibaly with the new signings, I think a lot of them are still on thin ice, but they can escape the wrath for now. Koulibaly, for me, bruv, he's shown me enough to say, yo, as an experienced player, yeah, you're a senior, 31 years old, you're world-class reputation. You're supposed to be adapting quicker than most of the other players. You're supposed to be the seniors that we're all looking up to. But to no fault of his own, I guess he's struggling. It just hasn't been it for him, bruv. It's just not worked for him. Do you know what I mean?
I am running out of defense for Koulibaly, and I'm really trying to, because I do still think that there's a really good centre back in there, but it's like I could say you need to adapt for as long as you want, but I also just need you not to be brain dead. Make the right decisions consistently, or at least semi-consistently, so I can see some improvement. Other than the City game in the league, it's just been crap. Forest, crap. City in the cup, crap. Fulham, crap. Bournemouth, crap. Fucking Newcastle, the goal came from his side, crap. It's just not good enough. And like it's only because we played in a back three and Chalobah was there, and Chalobah was still stinky in spite of all of that, that I'm not even getting at Potter for it. When it's a back four, it should be Chalobah and Silva, regardless. I don't care at this point. But as a back three, he has to go into the lineup, but you feel like he'd be a little bit more protected as a result of that. No, it's still the same mistakes. Just getting caught out of position so many times, poor passing that either gives away possession or leads to Joao Felix red card. It's just errors everywhere. And like Hurad said as well, he's one of our highest earners. That excuse isn't going to last for long, not when you're on those sorts of wages.
It's really disgusting when you think about it. Lonrabo, Lewis, I've asked you twice. You've said no in the past. I'll ask one more time. Are we in a banter era?
Next season. If there's no improvement next season, then yeah, we're officially in a banter era.
This
season is just a write-off.
This season, I'll say this. This season is a banter season. A banter era needs us like 5 or so seasons, in my opinion. We've scraped it. We've almost had a banter era. I think we never scraped a couple of the trophies that we did and papered over the cracks. We would definitely be in a banter era. But because of that, we're not. We potentially could be entering into one. But I hope in terms of long-term decisions, our board get it right. Because this is not, this is not it. I've seen a lot of harsh criticism for this brother, Chalobah. Poor performance yesterday has to be said. What was he doing for the second goal as well? Flipping out the market now. He had no idea where Vinicius was. No idea. But we've had more better things to say about him this season than bad. I think he's not world class or elite or whatever, but he had his level of consistency. And I think it's just unfair to go in on him after a couple of shaky games in the bigger picture of things. Do you know what I mean? I think it's a little bit harsh. So in terms of the back four thing, I definitely agree with you. Chalobah should play. And what we need to start doing going forward, actually, is making a decision. And I'm looking at Graham Potter now. You've had your opportunity to look through this squad. Look at what's available. Unfortunately, you've had several injuries. Yeah. Why don't you start thinking about the players, using the players that are going to be staying here and phasing out the ones that aren't, that don't have a future? It's that simple.
Exactly. Did you see the article that Matt Law put out, by the way?
That's some of that is coming out in my video, in my next video that's coming out after this live. I did talk a bit about that. But which one was it? Was it today's one?
The squad clear out one.
No, I haven't actually seen that one. I ain't seen that one, so I guess you can enlighten me, bro. Or can you send me the link and I'll put it up on the screen, or is it a paywall thing?
It is, but I think there was someone who leaked it, so just bear with me 1 second.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. If it's a paywall thing, I'm not gonna put it.
It's not a paywall. It's screenshots.
All right. In the meantime, Matthew Harris, thank you very much for the super chat. Big up Guni and Lewis. Should Chelsea sign Declan Rice in the summer to sort out the midfield issues? And Nkunku will be a great addition with us next season. And let's hope Arsenal won't win the league, bruv. All right. So I'll go first with the Declan Rice thing while Lewis is busy scanning.
In the private chat.
In terms of Declan Rice, lots of you already know I wouldn't mind him coming to Chelsea. I've never once said he's world class or he's elite. I think he's a very good player and he's got a lot to build on, certainly. And I think at the highest level with better quality around him and a good environment, he can develop into a better player at Chelsea. So I wouldn't mind him there. But will we go for him? I've been hearing mixed things recently. Yes, we're still interested. But on the flip side, we're not what's it called? We're not first choice or something for Declan Rice. Do you know what I mean? We're not in hard enough for him, whatever. I'm hearing mixed things, man. So I don't know what's going to happen with the Declan Rice situation. But in terms of a player of that profile, a number 6 or a DM, 1000%. I think we need one as of January. What do you reckon, Lewis?
I would have gone in for one of those immediately. Like, I think we're pissing about with this Enzo situation. It's like, yo, if you're not going to pay the 120 million, move on. Because it's just do
you know what? Although it's gone quiet on that end, yeah, a part of me does think that if we, like I said to you before, if we don't get something done soon, yeah, then we might just end up at the end of this season, not because we want to, but panic buying and getting him in and activating that release clause. I can honestly see it happening, bruv.
But that would be fine, but it's like, how many more games are we going to drop points in because we're not making these moves quickly enough?
Yep, exactly.
Like, if you want him, go and get him. We are literally in the worst position I've ever seen Chelsea in my life. Worse than 15, 16, 17, 18 behind.
Let's have a look at what this says. Ziyech, Pulisic, and Havertz face uncertain futures. Wow, that last name is shocked.
Let's go.
There's no option or obligation for Chelsea to buy Felix in his loan agreement until the end of the season, but the club are confident they'll be able to sign him permanently from Atletico Madrid should they wish to. And this is what I said in my videos. I said it. People in here can vouch for me. The 6-month loan thing, don't watch that too tough. Chelsea are blatantly going to use this time to negotiate him to be staying on a permanent. I'm on record saying it. Yeah, so I'm glad Matt Law has come out and said that. Just as important as new signings will be player sales. Facts. Yeah, is Matt watching our streams, bro? Is he watching our things, bro?
I'm not going to say too much, but apparently Daniel Finkelstein saw my fan cam. So
hey, big up Finkelstein.
I'm a little bit later afterwards.
And big up yourself. And big up yourself. Hey, Lewis, but one piece of advice that I'm going to give you, yeah? Like, I love the support that you gave him, but please, next time, I beg you, just shout names. Get him out the club. Get him out the club.
I did say sell Havertz, but they cut that out at the end.
Yeah, they cut that out.
I need to get more names in that next time. I'll get Mount out, I'll get Jorginho out, Aspi, Koulibaly, we'll keep
get a whole bunch out. But listen, I've got faith that he knows that, wow, I didn't even see the thing on the side of the screen, blood. That is a mad thing. That was just chilling there. I didn't see that. Mental, blood. Yeah. Expensive signings such as Hakim Ziyech, Christian. Well, actually, I missed the paragraph, didn't I? Just as important as new signings will be player sales, but Chelsea's biggest issue would be finding buyers and interested clubs for highly paid stars. That's a problem we've been having. They're willing to sell and loan out. Expensive signings such as Hakim Ziyech, Christian Pulisic, and Kai Havertz are facing uncertain futures. While, as revealed this week by Telegraph Sport, Jorginho may be allowed to leave when his contract expires, and interested in captain Azpilicueta could be considered. Right, that's good news. Although I feel it's too little, too late. You really should have dealt with that when you had the time. There's also a possibility of Chelsea cutting their losses on defender Kalidou Koulibaly if an offer arrives from Italy. While the club are unlikely to stand in Aubameyang's way if he decides he wants to return to Spain or move elsewhere. Now, let's stop there, Lewis, because several of these names are getting me very, very excited here.
I'm a little bit moved.
I am. Like, it's actually close to bringing a tear to my face. So obviously, Ziyech, we know he's going to be out of the club. Pulisic, please get out. Havertz, I wouldn't mind him going either.
Not even nicely dip immediately, you
Yep.
fraud. Get out.
Jorginho and Azpilicueta. Now, if you'd ask me, keep or sell either of those players, I would have told you sell all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells you that there is some kind of correct long-term thinking when you look at the players that they're actually trying to get out of the door. Now, fair play, what we have known for years is that these guys have been on ridiculous contracts that they don't merit. Do you know what I mean? So on that basis, you can't get them out of the door. But that's our fault. But contracts are ending, and I'd be just as happy to see them leave on a free transfer.
I couldn't care less with the three of them. Havertz, we could get about 50 million max, but if we get anything above 25, I'm selling personally. Pulisic, I don't really care. Get rid. Ziyech, he hasn't wanted to be here for at least a year. Get rid. Azpi, respectfully, you need to leave. Jorginho, respectfully, you need to leave. Koulibaly, if he don't pattern up, let him go as well, because I can't keep defending this shit much longer. Genuinely looking like one of the worst centre-backs I've ever seen. And Oba, I don't even feel any type of way about Oba. It's like he's just been fucked over by lack of creativity. It is what it is.
I agree with that, but he's a scumbag for what he done after we got patterned by Arsenal still.
Yeah, he's a bit of an idiot for that one still. But same way, if we fed him, he's not even dropping that tweet because we win 1-0.
Yeah, true that. True that. Todd Miller, thank you for the super chat. Late, why are we afraid to add quality to the midfield? Well, hopefully we will. Hopefully we will. I've actually got some news about that on the video that I will be releasing after this live. So make sure you watch that so you can, maybe that might answer your question. But thank you for the super chat. Let's see what some of the others are saying. Wow, man said sell Sterling for 20 M's. Are you crazy? Cut ties. I don't think he needs to go just yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't sell Sterling just yet. He's still our best forward. Just no one wants to admit it.
Chelsea owners are also looking to reduce the wage bill. Interesting. The Bowley Clear Lake owners have been trying to rebalance Chelsea's wage bill since taking over the club, and that will continue as more new players arrive and others depart. Ideally, Chelsea want a first-team dressing room of players who are all on similar basic wages with the possibility of earning lucrative bonuses for meeting personal and team goals. Chelsea have been open to offers for Ziyech this month, but the club's enormous injury list means that Potter can afford to lose too many players and is likely to delay the bulk of an attempted clear out until the summer. You see what I'm saying? It's just that catch-22, innit? Like, what do we do? Like, we ain't got no, like, as much as we want to get rid of these players, I do also understand we've got no one else.
That's the thing. Like, I get it for January. I didn't really expect anyone to be leaving except maybe one or two. The summer, clear out everything and start again. I want the whole squad gone immediately, but we can't do it. We can't do it.
Absolutely. I'd fuck the squad.
Bayern, anyone in Germany will take Havertz because they still believe that Starboy bollocks. Try and get some resale value. Pulisic, I'm sure there'll be a Bundesliga club for him too. Ziyech, couldn't give a fuck really, to be honest, whatever happens with him. Just get him gone. Jorginho will go back to Italy. He's loved there. Azpi will probably go back to Spain. Oba will go back to Spain. Whatever, we're fine. And that's just a start, and we can continue to move on from there. Deal with whatever you have to deal with N'Golo. As long as you're not giving him any stupid wage, I don't mind him re-signing, but realistically, we could probably get rid of him too. Kova has been so shit this season, and it's flown under the radar. If an offer comes in for him, he can go too. At the back, Silva, if he does want to go retire in Brazil, fair enough. You don't need to deal with this shit at your age. Go enjoy football. Go enjoy football. I'm not going to have any bad words about it. Do whatever you want to do, and we'll follow that. The wing backs, them needs to do something with this Chilwell Cucurella thing, but it's too early to say. Get a right back in. Who else we got in the forward line? It's all just youth. Gallagher as well. Get rid of Gallagher. Get rid of him.
I think apparently Palace is still interested in signing him. So, like, look, if we
send him to them now and get me Zaha. Send him now.
If we can get a 30 million, 40 million for him, I'm biting their arm off, to be honest with you.
Zaha's got 6 months left. Throw them Gallagher and say, give us Zaha now. They will bite your hand off. Oh yeah, Loftus-Cheek, get him out too.
Get him out too. Facts.
I don't know
Loftus-Cheek's
how
got to
he's
go.
still frauding a living.
Big up Arjun. We was going to talk about that as well real quick for the final 15 minutes, 10 minutes or so. We was going to talk about this, about the whole situation with the medical staff, because I've got some thoughts on that. I wanted to ask you about that actually, but yeah, big up for that one. Ben Highsmith, listen, proper real one, man. Like I speak to him as well in the DMs, proper support, a proper real guy, man, genuine guy. Big up yourself, Ben. Thank you for the super chat. Big up Guni. As an Arsenal fan, I'm loving this at the moment, but we all know Chelsea always ends up figuring it out. I understand the panic because of the uncertainty. Well, we're in a situation where we haven't seen a rebuild like this since Glenn Hoddle, I would say. Would you agree?
Glenn Hoddle was a little bit before my time, but I guess I would.
Yeah, so I'm told. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So it's a whole, but it's what we do know is that this is going to take time and it's not all going to be done overnight. But regardless of that, we do need to see an improvement. But this goes on to say Chelsea have not ruled out making a second bid for Benfica's Enzo Fernandez, while Brighton and Hove's Caicedo remains on the club's radar this month. We've spoken enough about Enzo Fernandez. My stance is I still believe that we will go back in for him. I think we will, and we'll be successful in getting the player. I haven't heard that from anywhere else, but I've always had that feeling because the 85 million bid never sat well with me. Although it did happen, I felt it could be like an opening offer, and Benfica just weren't entertaining bidding and negotiating and haggling.
I think it's because we were always saying that we were just going to outright pay the release clause.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's not a good way to do business in any sort of way, if we're being honest. But it goes on to say, as P turned down strong interest from Barcelona to sign a 2-year contract last summer, but Chelsea are unlikely to stand in the 33-year-old's way again if he receives another offer at the end of this season. Cool. Glad you're realizing it now, but you're like 3 seasons too late, to be honest. He's been shot to death for time. Despite only moving to Chelsea at the end of the last transfer window, Oba is already, we know about that. Clubs in Spain, including Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, blah, 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 blah. We already know this. But what we also know is if Aubameyang is going to leave this season, he can only play for Barcelona. Now,
and Barcelona only want him on a free, so they can get fucked. Unless you're sending me Christensen back, you can get fucked.
I wanted to talk about this story about Chelsea's medical staff. So I know that article as well, although it's from Matt Law, it's a Matt Law quote, it's behind the paywall, and I don't really want to violate the brother too much. You know what I'm saying? He works hard to do his thing. But it says here, Chelsea are conducting a review of the club's medical department as they attempt to find reasons behind the devastating injury crisis amid fears among players that the decision to sack long-standing staff has backfired. Obviously, that's a quote from Matt Law, one of his articles. And as you can see there as well, great work done there by the Blue Dodger account. You can see a first 11 of the injuries that we currently have. That is sickening. But, Lewis, when you look amongst these names, right, these guys, outside of Mendy, either had an injury-prone history or they've been overused, and in one case that I can see here, a freak injury in Broya. But is this really something that we should be blaming the medical staff entirely for? Or is this potentially, outside of several others, seasons of abuse and not giving some of these players the backup that they've needed, and naturally some of their bodies have broken down?
It's a mix of different things. Like, I want to try and gather all my thoughts quickly on this, because a new medical team was brought in earlier this season, so that can't really that's got nothing to do with the likes of Ruben being injury prone as fuck, Fafana with the same energy, Reece James, N'Golo Kante, Christian Pulisic. All of them have had injury issues. Now, I could understand it for Reece James and Chilwell's issues, because Reece James was arguably rushed back. Chilwell was literally training on a bandage before a pointless game against Zagreb, and then we played him for a full 90 for no reason. That's partly on the medical team, partly on Graham Potter. But I think the thing that makes the most sense would be that maybe that old medical team was there for a while. They've been there for years, and they understand the players a little bit more. They understand their strengths, their weaknesses, and how to manage it as well. And the lack of faith from the players is because it's a completely new team that just doesn't really know how to manage them with the same energy. That might be what makes the most sense to me, but it's a bunch of different reasons for me. Like, I don't think it's just the new medical team. I think a lot of them are just injury prone in general. Some, like N'Golo, have just been run into the ground. I think it's partly we need a rebuild and we need to get rid of the injury prone players. Partly a bit more faith needs to come into the medical team, but they also can't be making stupid injuries like giving the okay for Chilwell when he's training on a bandage. Partly on Potter as well. Like, if Reece James was not 100% fit to play Bournemouth and we played Aspi, fine. I don't care. I don't care if we lose. I genuinely don't care. Because at least you're protecting Reece James. So it's a bunch of different factors. Like, I can't really speak too much on this medical department, but I could say you could blame them for James and Chilwell, and that's about it. I don't think you could blame them for much else. Oh, you're on mute, G.
Why? I don't remember hitting the mute, but here we are. Thanks for letting me know. But yeah, so that one's a bit of a strange one for me. I'm not gonna lie. In terms of,
I understand the lack of faith because they were probably fine with the last medical team. They probably don't know why they got sacked. But it's clear Bowley's running this all change thing with the background, and like everything's being changed over. Not just the infrastructure for transfers and everything. I think he's just changing everything. That's what I said to you like a couple streams ago. Like, I'm not gonna try and like act like a visionary or something, but if the badge gets changed in a year or two, I wouldn't be too shocked. Because he's just trying to put his whole stamp on everything.
our medical team is George Clooney, Doctor Who, Dr. Manhattan, Dr. J, and Professor X. What about Doctor Strange? Should we throw him in there as well? Yeah, big up Galib, man. But that was on part of Reese's injury. In his press, he said Reese has to slowly come back, and then he went on and started and played for almost 60 minutes. Could it have been managed a little better? I'm not too sure, because remember, before then, he was given a run out in terms of, like, I think some of the youth games and the reserve games, just for which is normal.
Yeah, but he played like 60 games in that. Yeah. And even then, the intensity of a friendly game is going to be completely different to a Premier League match.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
I can't lie. That's naive as hell from Potter. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, now we find ourselves in this situation where a player like
that. So, you know what? I'm not even blaming the medical team for either, then. That's Potter. Potter played Chilwell 90 minutes in a stupid game against Zagreb for no reason. And then we're doing the same thing with Reece James. That's a terrible look on him.
All right, so the last thing that we're going to talk about is this tweet here. Obviously, with Nathan Gissing, I don't really know too much about his history, but what I do know is that he's one of the guys that, you know, leaks some of the lineup information before time. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I don't know if other fan bases also have this these sort of accounts. But me personally, I'm not a huge fan of it, but it is what it is. But he's been quoted by the CFC Pice account by saying Chelsea's main midfield targets at the moment are Moises Caicedo and Romeo Lavia. Club like Kone, but feel more possible in the summer. Rice maybe in the summer. So the way this is worded is basically that the first two names, Caicedo and Lavia, will be available or potentially available in January. And the last two will only be available in the summer. Now, let's say hypothetically this is true. What do you think the best decision to make would be here out of these four options?
Let me have a quick look at that. So Caicedo, Lavia, Kone, Rice. Kone is meant to be a very good talent.
He is a very good talent.
So, like, I would probably lean to him a bit more for Rice because I do think we could get him a bit cheaper. In terms of Caicedo or Lavia, I feel like Lavia's a bit more of a pure sitting DM as opposed to Caicedo. So I would rather go for that because we just desperately need that sort of profile.
We need that,
first and foremost. So Lavia immediately. And I could take Caicedo and Kone, both if we could. But if you ask me to pick one, maybe Kone. Because Kone is more untapped, like he'd be a bit cheaper. I feel like that's someone that we could mold into whatever Potter wants to make him out. Although I say that Caicedo literally came from Potter. So
Yeah,
it
exactly.
goes both ways.
Exactly. Let us know in the chat as well. Who would you like to see come into the club? Because look, let's try and make this a bit more realistic. So out of the midfielders that we know that are leaving, right, or potentially leaving, Jorginho, Kovacic, N'Golo Kante still hasn't signed his contract, so we don't know what's going on there. Loftus-Cheek, I assume, will be moved on as well, and Conor Gallagher potentially. So that's 5 midfielders. Let's say 3 of them go, right? Now, I like all of these names that have been mentioned here, but there's one thing that I have a small issue with is the amount of experience that we're potentially losing. All of these guys are under 25. So I would sign, if 3 are going out, I definitely sign Romeo Lavia. I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'd sign Kone. And it'll be between Casado
It's
and
got to
Rice
be a
in the
young
summer.
midfield anyway, though. You got to keep that in
Yeah.
mind because they want to lower the age of the squad.
Yeah. So for me, I would do Romeo Lavia and Kone, right? But then if I was to do 2 young ones like that, I'd actually be going to Fulham and saying, look, what are you saying for Palhinha? Because remember, he's 26, 27. I also think his quality should be playing at a level way higher than he is. I think he walks into our team and he's that senior-ish. Well, he's that senior player that's ahead of them that relieves the pressure off these guys. You see what I mean? So for me, like I would angle towards definitely getting 2 of these youths in the club and one with just that little bit more of experience to lead them a little bit because
You're
it's
thinking more
great.
of a Rice, aren't you?
How old is Rice now?
Rice is 24, but he has been West Ham captain for a while, so I do think he fits the leadership.
He does fit that leadership mold, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But man, out of these 4 names, some people in the chat may disagree with me. But in terms of looking at these talents in 5 years, I think it's going to be Kone and Lavia. That's going to be the cream of the crop. But Lavia has a small caveat, and that's if he stays injury-free.
Oh, has he got a bit of an injury record?
Yeah, he got injured again in the last game as well.
Oh dear, keep him away from us then. Maybe
That's my concern. He's 19. He's still a baby, so he might be able to overcome that. And I don't know. And again, after he was taken off against City, I don't know the seriousness of that injury. But out of those 4, for me, it's Kone and Lavia. And the thing is that you don't have to play either or. If you go over midfield 3, you can play both of them together. And then if we did sign Enzo Fernandez, you've got him, and he can just focus on creating and stuff. And the bonus is with him is that he's still a good creator on the ball. He's still a good he wins the ball back. Good ball winner as well. He does get in the nitty-gritty. Deep, he can start plays from deep. I think it would be great. I think a midfield 3 like that would be all right. Some might say slightly defensive, but I think it's got good balance.
I don't mind it being defensive because that's been our biggest issue with our midfield is crap defensively. So I don't mind if we strengthen that sort of situation. If we need to add a bit more of attacking threat to our midfield, that could be done later. But start at the back and continue to move on. Because last season, the one thing that saved our meaty midfield and our meaty attack was a solid defensive system. We don't have that no more.
Exactly.
Now just leaking goals everywhere.
Galib, I'm not too worried about Lavia's attacking numbers. I would actually prefer this sort of structure where he's got like 2 progressives in front of him. And this is the thing, Kone's ball progression is excellent. In terms of on the dribble, he can progress the ball. In terms of like his final ball passing can be worked on, but in terms of like the dribbling and stuff and his press resistance, he's actually very good. Enzo Fernandez, say no more, bruv. See what I mean? So it still works out at the end of it. But Lewis, let the people that, in fact, you know what? Before I do that, people smash up the like button. We've got 335 people in the building. Run up that like button as well. If you want to support the channel some more, hit that join button. We've got memberships going on, 3 different tiers, something that's affordable for everybody. And every single one of them get a small pack of emojis. I can add more to that if I've got more members. So hit that join button. Leave your thoughts in the comments if you're coming to watch after the video as well. You get me? Lewis, what have you got up on your channel or what have you got coming up that you want the peoples to see?
Yeah, we got a Palace preview tomorrow. So I don't know what time it's going to be. We're going to chop up how and why we're going to lose that one and any transfer news. So check it out. Big up, like, subscribe, and all of that. And just hold tight, everyone, because we're shit. Hold tight.
Facts. Nah, I feel you, Lewis. Man said, Chelsea Blue and Blue said, Guni, are you related to Dan Diggers from Roadside G's? Nah, I'm not related to Dan Diggers, fam, but I know you're talking about Roadside G's are one of my all-time favorite grime groups, bro. I'm telling you, them man, they are R.A., Dan Diggers, Phantom, Den. Yeah. Bad boys. Bad boys. Yeah. Big up them man there. You get me?
Big up.
Smash the like. Yeah. Imagine I'm reading out I'm reading out my own comment, Lewis. I'm going bloody mad. I'm going fucking crazy. Do you know what I mean, people? But as for this channel, make sure you do stick around. If you are new, yeah, hit that subscribe button. Help us get up to 15k. We are less than 100 from doing so. Yeah. And also, I've got a I've got a pre-upload coming up probably within 20-30 minutes of this live going up. So I'd appreciate it if you go and run those numbers up as well. That one is my thoughts on Graham Potter, where I stand with him. And also, I did speak a little bit about this tweet here. So I did give you a bit of a spoiler. But still, go and run that up. But people, listen, man. Going through tough times as Chelsea fans, but we've got to support the club even more. But we've got to do it with logic, take away loyalty and emotion tax. And I promise you, we'll be moving forward in a positive direction. But big up everybody that's in here. Love and respect, people. Bless up, man.
Big up.